Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Reacts. It's our little show where we watch a movie, we listen to music, whatever, and we review it and we let people know what we think of it. This week we are going to be doing Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, which is the sequel but not direct sequel of the first Knives Out. Basically, the way these movies work is it follows Benoit Blanc, the famous detective in solving crime. This movie is kind of similar. Is that fair to say, Greg? Kind of similar to the
Very,
last one?
very similar, but a little bit of a different plot twist.
Yeah, it's similar in the aspect that Benoit Blanc was invited to something. The first one, he was invited to an already crime scene.
Yeah,
But nobody knows why he was told to be there. In this one, he was invited to a murder mystery, and then shit went south. We're not gonna get too far deep until I start talking about the plot as to why he was there or anything, because this movie is crazy. If you don't want spoilers, don't listen to our plot. just skip this episode altogether and watch it yourself.
Yeah.
However, this movie, let's go through some numbers, Gorak. Do you want to take a guess on the budget?
The budget, 200 million. I don't know.
40 million. It is actually the same exact budget that the first Knives Out had.
I was going to say it was close, but I was way off.
40 million. However, this one did not do as well as the first Knives Out in the box office.
Yeah.
Because it didn't spend as much time in the box office. The first Knives Out did 311.9 million. This one only did 15 million. Which is quite sad. Because we mentioned this before we went live. I do prefer the first one, but this one is just as good in my opinion.
You think? I think the first one was just a little bit better. I just felt like the cast in the first one was like a little bit better on this that one.
The cast is better, but the thing is like by saying that they're just as good, this one's as good as a standalone film as the first one. Because if you were to think, how the hell are you going to make a sequel of that? This is the best way they could have done it, is just have it be follow the detective to another crime scene. I would have loved to have seen some recurring characters or something like that, but you couldn't have done that.
No, I wouldn't fit in for this one.
No. This actually did very well, in my opinion. Yeah, the first one was a little bit better, not by much, in my opinion, but it does still follow Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. Now, there's an all-star cast, a lot of cameos. You have Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson.
His character was good in that.
He was really good in it.
Yeah.
Also, Jason Gordon-Levitt is in this, and I'm going to tell you who he is probably closer to the end of this, because it's kind of a funny thing. We also have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did, in the FaceTime meeting, in the Zoom meeting that had Serena Williams was in it too.
Actually, did you know all four of those people in that stream call, which we will mention again later, all four of them are actually in murder mystery movies or in books.
Oh, nice.
One of them was yeah, that they did that on purpose, and they were all in made cameos in this guy's films. Other than this, one of the actresses, of course, is in Murder, She Wrote. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played himself in a murder mystery show or movie. I forget which one. Another one was an author of a murder mystery book, and I forget who the fourth one was.
Okay, yeah, right. But Serena Williams was in that movie as the personal trainer, the in the gym. She was in there as well.
Also, there are odes and dedications to Jared Leto in it. The face that's on that hot sauce bottle looks like Jared Leto. There's also, if you,
as well.
yeah, and if you noticed, there's little odes to different characters in older films because they kind of try to set up what that character's like, if that makes any sense. Like the way Miles looks when he's younger, he has his hair in a ponytail, kind of that reminiscent of what was it, Nicolas Cage? I forget in what movie, but it was like he played like an asshole type character, very similar to Miles. But yeah, this movie is a Lionsgate movie?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a Lionsgate film, kind of like the first Knives Out. So, is there anything you wanted to state before I jump into kind of like skim over the plot and what happened?
Yeah, Edward Norton's character in this one, so stupid.
He's like an idiot. He's an idiot, and I'll get into that when I talk about the plot, because he steals a lot of the things that he does from other people. And the thing is that makes this movie, I think, not nearly as good as the original Knives Out is the fact that the first one, it's a very well put together murder.
Yeah.
This one is kind of a sloppy, you know, it's the opposite. Yeah. The murderer is an idiot.
Yeah. I kind of like watching, it was kind of like watching another mystery episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yes. And actually, if you go back and rewatch my first Knives Out review from last week, I did mention how this movie was much like Clue in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It's like Cluedo.
Which made me laugh because I've never seen Glass Onion until I did this review, and they actually did an ode, a little like nod to Clue. The booklet they use to figure out who the suspects are or not is the same thing as a Clue book.
Yeah.
All right, let's kind of jump into, I'm going to do what I normally do. I'm going to go on Wikipedia, skim through the plot from everything that I remember. The only reason I have Wikipedia up, and some of it I will kind of paraphrase.
Longhouse movie.
Well, it's hard to do a movie like this off of just memory because it flashes back so much. And there's so much
going on.
It's 2.5 hours, bro, almost.
Yeah.
All right. This movie takes place during the COVID pandemic. It takes place in 2020. We start off, if I'm not mistaken, it starts off with these 4 friends, or is it 5 friends? 4. They all receive a box in the mail from Miles. Those friends are alpha head scientist. How do you pronounce his name? Lionel? Yeah, Lionel. Alpha head scientist Lionel, Connecticut Governor Claire, controversial fashion designer Birdie J, men's rights streamer Duke Cody. Oh, there's 5 of them. But the 5th one you don't see yet. So the 4 friends are trying to solve this box. And they're like, what the hell? How do I get into it? Lionel, being the intelligent man that he is looking at this thing, trying to figure it out. When you hear over the phone Duke, who's played by Dave Bautista, his mom yelling, oh, it's because she broke it. And she's like, oh, it's some kind of board. And like, oh, that means the blurred vision. I forget the exact word for that. So the guy does this number, blurs his eyesight, and he sees an arrow. He hits a button, the box opens. It is a puzzle. This scene kind of confused me. And not because of it's a confusing scene. My brain questions everything. So when he solves a puzzle, somehow the other people have that puzzle solved and they move on to the next one. They might be skipping the part of him helping them solve it, but it's kind of a really quick scene of solving the puzzle. Am I correct on that, Gorak?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this is how we do this and this is how we do that. And like they're helping each other, but you don't really hear them saying, hey, this is what you do. And like we're talking them through it. It's like they quickly figure it out. The box opens up. They see this like onion thing that opens up and it's an invitation. And very much different than the last movie. This one is an actual invitation to a murder mystery kind of dinner on an island. Then we cut to a woman, which we are not explained who it is at this point. We are explained later, but it is, and don't speak up, Greg, we will get to that later. This is Cassandra Andy Brand, who is the former co-founder of Alpha, the company that Miles owns. Now, she was not included in this call because she's not really part of the friend group. She's kind of has like a really bad past with Miles, but she's beating the hell out of this box with a hammer. And it opens up and there's a note. Then we see our old friend Benoit Blanc in a bathtub. And he's in a Zoom call playing Among Us.
Yeah.
And he's a detective, but he sucks at Among Us, which is a great comedic relief. But he hears his assistant, is it, on the other end of the door? Would that be who that was?
Yeah.
I think it's his assistant, yelling, Benoit, somebody is here with a box. And after he already said he needs a mystery to solve, he ends up with this box. Well, now we see Benoit Blanc sitting on a pier, like a pier for like a dock or whatever for a boat. And he's sitting there on his suitcase and he looks at his watch. Now, you want to hear a really cool Easter egg, Greg?
What's that?
The brand of watch and the exact design of watch he is wearing is the same one he wears when he's in James Bond.
No way.
Same exact watch.
I didn't actually know that. I didn't really pay attention to that.
Benoit Blanc is James Bond.
There you go. He plays 007 and he plays a bloody...
No, let's start that theory. Benoit Blanc is actually James Bond when he retired. He's a detective. It makes sense.
Since you mentioned James Bond, I probably watched a lot of that latest one today.
But Benoit Blanc sitting on this pier and all the people start showing up, all the friends and stuff, they're greeting each other. And you kind of get a sight of their characters because you have the zany, stupid woman. I'm not like saying she's stupid out of opinion. I'm saying that's how they paint her in the movie. She's a fashion designer, Birdie J, who says stupid, offensive, racist shit and doesn't mean it that way. Like she's just not thinking because that's what society has told her over the years. Then we get greeted by the Connecticut governor, Claire. She's wearing a mask, but it's like half on her face, which kind of depicts how some of the politicians were. They kind of want to do the right thing, but their opinion doesn't get them that way. The fashion lady is wearing like half-ass mask, like it's like a mesh mask. Then we have Duke and his girlfriend Whiskey shows up. They're not even wearing masks. The Alpha co-founder is wearing his mask, and so is Benoit Blanc. So like you kind of get a sight of their characters by the way they're wearing their masks in this movie. Benoit Blanc, nobody really recognizes him at first. Then they're like, "Are you Benoit Blanc? What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I was invited." And they thought he was invited, and so did he. Thought that he was invited to add to the mystery.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, Jackie. If you don't want spoilers for Glass Onion, watch it first before watching this live. If you don't care, then that's cool. But we are right now talking about the plot. I love everyone for listening. I understand some people don't like commenting in the chat, but give it a like. That is anonymous. Give it a like and
you have no choice.
Subscribe. But yeah, they all meet. They think Benoit Blanc is there as like a guest, like gonna help solve this thing. Well, we go to the island where we are greeted by Miles, who is playing Blackbird. On acoustic, on the actual guitar that Paul McCartney played on. Now, I call bullshit, Greg. Do you know why?
There'll be like no way of getting a guitar that Paul McCartney had to do a movie. Like,
not even that simple. Not even that simple. If you go with the technicalities, okay, Greg, He is playing that guitar right-handed.
Paul McCartney is a lefty.
Paul McCartney plays exclusively on left-handed guitars. That is a right-handed guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not Paul McCartney's guitar.
Unless if they switched it upside down and changed the strings over.
They could have done that. But also, I would have to rewatch the movie because it could have been a left-handed guitar playing right-handed. And that takes a lot of skill. That takes a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But he's playing Blackbird, which is kind of ironic because that song was written during the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah.
And Miles screwed over the only African American that was in his company. Like, thanks, Jackie. My brain just works that way. Like, I will observe stupid shit like that. But we are at the Glass Onion, which is a retreat for scientists and stuff, as he describes, and they are there, and there's nobody else there except for, is it Miles's brother? He's the comedic relief, but is it his brother? Well, he's there, but he's not there. He's not part of the whole murder mystery.
He does mention him in the movie, though.
Yeah, he mentions him, and he has like a couple scenes that's like comedic relief. We'll get to that later. But Miles takes Benoit Blanc off to the side. Benoit's like, I love this whole murder mystery thing. And then we find out that he wasn't invited there by Miles. Similarly to the last movie, somebody invited him. Miles can't figure out why he was invited or how, because the box was there was only 5 of them made.
Yeah.
But somebody, they think, put the box back together, reprogrammed it, and sent it to him. So then we kind of go to like the murder mystery scene. Jackie, you will love this movie if you love a good murder mystery.
It's like a murder mystery / a comedy.
Yes. Now, Jackie, I know you probably don't care about bloopers or you wouldn't be watching this, but this movie is fucking great. The first one's great too. Go check that one out. But we go to like the murder mystery kind of dinner, and it's funny because Benoit Blanc is sitting there observing everything like he does. And then he stands up and he's like, did this start now? And he's like, yeah, you guys have a whole weekend to solve it. Benoit Blanc solves it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. We need him like as a detective in here, man. He'd be awesome.
But he solved it in like 5 minutes. Then we have this kind of scene. It's not a blooper, Jackie. I thought I said spoilers. I might have said blooper. But Benoit Blanc is taken upstairs with Miles, and Miles is all pissed. He's like, I paid all this money for this murder mystery thing, and you solved it in 5 minutes. He's like, it's sloppy. He's like, it's like putting a loaded gun on the table when the lights turn out, and then turning the lights out. Now that is actually an important line for later on in the movie. And that's something I observed. It's similar to that line of he would mistaken a real knife for a fake knife in the first movie.
Yes.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in this movie. And if you go back and watch this movie twice or 3 times, you actually see, since you already know what happened, you actually see the actors acting in a way of them being guilty or innocent. Like you actually pick up on that shit when you watch it again.
Yeah.
But he solved it, and he said it's like putting a loaded gun on the table, and he got all pissed. And before the dinner, though, we did get greeted by the original Mona Lisa, which is in a glass thing, which there's a button that deactivates the security. That is an important note. I completely forgot to mention that. And also before dinner, Blanc ended up snooping around. It is just like Clue, Jackie. Blanc was snooping around, and he discovered that Peg was confronting Miles over a PR statement that they want Birdie to release. because of she made some stupid statement. I forget what it was exactly. Duke sees whiskey in bed with Miles. And I think that's the only two things we see. Anyway. Oh,
yeah,
no.
it is.
Those are the two things we see. But Miles reveals that the glass onion is powered by Clear, which is this hydrogen-based alternative fuel that we hear about earlier on in the movie that isn't approved yet because it hasn't been tested, because it could cause a huge explosion due to gas in the air if it is not tested properly. But it is revealed that Clear is powering the glass onion with Miles. So there's kind of a catch-up of everything that I kind of missed before the murder game. Now, we end up, after the whole murder mystery thing, they're all chilling out, they're drinking, they're having a good time. Duke ends up collapsing. He pretty much dies from drinking.
Yes.
A drink.
Yeah.
They don't know how he dies, but he dies. Then Miles discovers that he accidentally picked up his glass and drank from it. And somebody tried poisoning Miles. So Miles doesn't trust anyone. Then Miles realizes that due to the whole murder mystery thing, the lights are supposed to go out due to dramatic effect. The lights do go out. Now, in this room, we do not have Andy, because she got pissed off at Duke before he died and stormed out of the room.
Yeah.
Because she asked for the truth, he gave it to her. So we are presumed to believe that Andy was trying to kill Miles. That's what our assumption, at least mine was. I don't know what yours was. What was your assumption at this point?
Of
who was the one that did it?
Oh man, I picked that out straight away, eh?
Okay. Well, I was in the mindset.
It was pretty obvious, dude.
It was, but like in my mind, I'm like, well, Andy left the room right after that, and she's pissed off. She already has a motive. Everybody has a motive to kill Miles, though. Everyone.
Yeah, 100%. I would.
Kind of like Clue. But we then realize that Duke's pistol is missing before the power goes out. Everybody splits up in chaos. Blanc ends up finding Andy and is telling her, hey, there's one part of this missing and only you can solve it. And then she gets shot by an unknown assailant who drops the gun that was missing. So Andy is presumably dead at this point. Presumably. So now Blanc gathers up the rest of the group to announce that he has solved Andy's murder. Then we get another flashback that shows that Andy actually died, supposedly by suicide a week before the trip. Her twin sister Helen hired Blanc, so that's where Blanc got the invite. She gave him the shattered box and wanted him to investigate her death. However, at Alpha, Andy had halted Clear's development for being unsafe, so Miles had her removed as a CEO. They went to court, and their friends perjured themselves in court by testifying that Miles single-handedly sketched out the plan for Alpha years ago on a napkin. Andy later on discovered that napkin. It was Colonel Custard in the library. Colonel Mustard, sorry. But Andy found that original napkin, put it in an envelope, took a picture, and emailed it to everybody. So basically, she could take down the entire development and catch them all for lying under oath.
Yeah.
So Helen suspects that someone in the group killed Andy, took the napkin to gain favor of Miles. With Andy's death yet to be publicized, Blanc had Helen pose as Andy at Miles's party, helping him investigate. So, are you all caught up?
There's a lot of fucking.
There's a lot of
going on in that movie.
Yeah, it's like Ace Ventura. Helen is Andy. Andy is Helen. Then that means...
Yeah.
But that means Helen was killed, not Andy. Now, we don't really get back to that shooting scene for a little while because then we see Helen helping Blanc discover the motive of Miles' friends to protect Miles from Andy. So they all had motives to protect Miles from Andy. So who killed Andy? So Lionel and Claire have staked their reputations on Claire. Miles is financially rescuing Birdie from the fallout of employing sweatshops because she thought that's where they made sweatpants. She didn't realize that they were sweatshops that had children working in them and it was horrible. Duke and Whiskey seduce Miles. So that scene where like Miles and Whiskey are having an affair, that's not true. Duke actually had her put there to try to seduce him into allowing Duke to join Alpha News, which Miles said, no, I cannot have a man who gives steroids to children on my news network.
Yeah.
So there's so much shit going on in this fucking movie, man. Helen also discovered that each of Miles' friends visited Andy's home the day she died. Helen ended up searching the guest's room, but didn't find the napkin. When Helen was shot, Andy's journal in her jacket pocket actually prevented the bullet from going through, and she actually survived. But to make people think she died, they put hot sauce on her shirt, and Blanc put some in his eyes to help him cry.
Yeah.
He went into the house and said, I think I know who did this. We got to put a stop to this. All right, now we're back to current times. Blanc. Hold on. I'm trying to remember. Okay, Blanc faked her death by dousing her shirt and some of that stuff. He then had her search Miles's office while he had everybody sidetracked downstairs, trying to find that envelope. Blanc revealed that Miles committed both murders because everybody had just found out that, not yet, sorry. That Blanc reveals that Miles committed both the murders, which was Andy and what was his name again? Dave Bautista's character? Duke.
Yeah, my mind's blank. Yeah.
Duke. Blanc revealed that Miles committed Duke's murder and also committed Andy's murder, as we know as Helen, but everybody still thinks it's Andy. Miles killed Andy after learning she had the napkin, but Duke saw Miles' car leaving her house. When news of Andy's death was finally released online during the party, so then we find out that the news was released during the party, Duke realized that Miles was responsible and attempted to blackmail him to get on Alpha News. So that is when Duke showed him his phone. Nobody else at the party knew that Andy was dead except for those two. And he was trying to blackmail him into allowing him to be on Alpha News. So what happened was Miles ended up giving him his drink, not switching. He handed him his drink that had pineapple juice in it, which earlier on in the movie, when they were doing the fucking shit in the mouth to help sanitize,
that was kind of like a vaccine thing, wasn't it?
It was, but you heard him say, as long as there's no pineapple in it, Duke don't mess with pineapple. He's highly allergic.
Yeah.
So he poisoned him using pineapple, which was fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It was clever, but stupid. This prompted Miles to kill him, exploiting his pineapple allergy, and he ended up snatching Duke's pistol, in which he shot Helen. Helen then, while she's upstairs, locates the original napkin, which was behind a picture shelf kind of thing.
Yeah.
Helen ends up revealing herself to the group, which was kind of funny because everybody caught on. Everybody knew. How do I remember all of this? I have notes on the side and I just watched the movie. I wouldn't remember it if I just watched it 2 days ago. Now, Helen came down the steps and everyone caught on that it was Helen, the twin sister, not Andy, except for except for our little friend, our little fashion idiot, Birdie. Birdie was like, "Oh yeah, you told us about your twin." Wait. Then she caught on. Miles ended up burning the napkin, eliminating the only evidence against him. Helen begs Miles' friends to testify against him. They all refuse. Blanc then tells Helen that she can't do anything without evidence, which causes Helen to explode in anger, destroying Miles' glass sculptures, and then all the friends join in. They end up lighting a bonfire and throwing all of like shirts and shit in there, grabs that clear thing, throws it in there. Now, with the clear thing causing this entire fire and the entire building up in flames, that means that clear cannot pass any inspections because it caused this Hindenburg type fire.
Yeah.
Some of this is based on memory, Jackie. Some of it, not all of it. I'm not going to take full credit. But the fire is up in flames. However, Helen gets smart and ends up seeing that button for the Mona Lisa, the only Mona Lisa that he's renting out. She hits that button, Mona Lisa goes up in flames. Now we go outside, and we all realize that now clear is dangerous and it ruined Miles. The group decides to testify against him. They all decide outside to testify against him for his crimes. And then all we see at the end of the movie is Helen staring into the camera like the Mona Lisa, and all the police boats leaving, and that's the end of the movie. Now, fun note about the Mona Lisa, every time something was happening that wasn't what it seemed, it would zoom into the Mona Lisa's face.
Yeah.
Which is reminiscent of a lot of mystery shows and stuff. The Mona Lisa has that expression where you see what you want to see. So things are not what they seem. That is pretty much Glass Onion in a nutshell. Did I miss anything, Greg?
Well, we forgot to mention one person that was in a cameo spot, and it was Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, yes.
He was the dude that did the thing.
Oh, he was the dude that was the comedic effect, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the guy that was doing the sanitizing thing in the mouth.
Oh, that was him. Yes. I thought you meant the guy that played. Who played the brother that was the comedic effect? Because he was in that scene where Helen was destroying all the rooms and ransacking to find the envelope. And one of the rooms he was in had like pot leaves and shit everywhere. And he's like, "You want to hang out?" or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I can't remember the name, but yeah, that was funny. My favorite, the funny part in the movie is when he was having a cigarette and the alarm went off.
That was Noah Segan. Sorry.
Yeah, and how he's gonna have a cigarette and it's like restricted area, and he starts running off. And at the end, when it was happening, him and that pot smoking guy was like fucking having to fucking join this cigarette, and an alarm went off at the same time.
The thing about the movie that I loved is you see the movie basically play out twice. You see it play out the way that they want you to see it, and then you see it the way it actually happened. And I think, don't they film every scene from two different angles?
Yeah. It's exactly like that in the first one as well.
Yeah, like they'll film the scene that they want you to see up here while they're filming the real scene down here.
Yeah.
And like the movie is taken in like multiple like different shots for one scene.
It was well done. I thought it was good.
So they're basically shooting two scenes at one time.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
like that is some in-depth thinking ahead, bro.
Yeah, but Dave Bautista's character in this, how in the start of the movie, he goes, he says something about Jimmy Kimmel. He goes, I like boobs or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, Jimmy Kimmel, I love boobs. I want a prequel so that we know what the Jimmy Kimmel interview was that made him say that.
You know, his character on this
Uh-huh.
It was kind of like Dax in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
just stupid.
Here we go. This is what I was meaning to say earlier. It wasn't Nicolas Cage movie. It was a Brad Pitt movie. The painting of Miles Bron in the living room when he was younger is actually Edward Norton's head, photoshopped on Brad Pitt's body from Fight Club.
And another funny thing in that movie when they just like how Daniel Craig just figured out how what killed him. He goes, pineapple juice. That is just stupid. Pineapple juice.
And then the whole lights out with a loaded gun on the table was his idea anyway.
Yeah. It's like in the first one, right? He goes, "Why was I here? Why was I hired?" I'm like,
right?
Yeah.
Well, he even said, he's like, from my experience, a random invite is never a good thing.
Yeah. It would have been nice if it would have been cool if he brought back that scene from the first one, how he just sits in the back, and every time that detective was talking, is bing.
Okay, we are going to get into this, though. We did mention this earlier, and I didn't really mention the sound, but Jason Gordon-Levitt is in this movie.
Yeah.
That scene where they get off the boat and they're hanging out with Miles, you hear a clock, like noise. And they ask, what is that? And he says, it's the hourly clock. That's actually voiced by him.
Ah, okay.
Which is a very interesting thing. Did you know that Daniel Craig had to work with a dialect coach in order to get that Southern accent?
Yeah, that could have gotten anyone to play that character and now that accent, but for some reason, Daniel Craig was made for that movie, for that part.
Here's a very interesting take. Even though she played his mother, Jackie Hoffman is only 8 years older than Dave Bautista. And I thought that was a very weird casting choice for his mother. You could have had somebody older play.
Yeah.
Because Bautista's
she looked older though. She looked older in that movie though.
Yeah, true. But still, I don't know. It was just a weird casting choice. It is what it is, but before the guests arrive, these are some trivia stuff. Miles, of course, as we stated, played Blackbird on the guitar. This song actually is on the 1968 Beatles White Album, which is also the same album that has their song Glass Onion. Because this movie ends with the Beatles song Glass Onion. Miles Bron was actually, from what a lot of people have stated, is based on Elon Musk.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that kind of makes sense now.
However, Rian Johnson, who made the movie, denies that. But a lot of people are saying that they see the similarities between the two.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. They did mention this on Facebook or something like that. I've seen it pop up and stuff. Yeah,
like it's interesting. There's a painting hanging in the hallway that shows pop icons who all use nicknames during their career that rhyme with each other. There's Iggy Pop, there's Biggie Smalls, which is labeled as Twiggy, and Ziggy, which is Ziggy Stardust, which is David Bowie's alter ego.
Okay. That's good.
Kaylee Kuko auditioned for the part that ultimately went to Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson was actually good in this. I remembered now, like you just mentioned it. Kate Hudson was good in this movie, but I have to say, because although I do like the first one a bit better, but Toni Collette. Sorry.
So, did you know that this isn't the first movie? You probably already know this, but this isn't the first movie that has Daniel Craig and Dave Bautista together.
they've been together in other movies as well.
One other movie. This was their first time on screen together since 2015. Dave Bautista was in the 007 movie Spectre.
He was too. Yes. I remember now. Yeah. It's been a while since I watched Spectre though, even though it was like my least favorite James Bond movie. But like, yeah, fuck. I have to go and rewatch that.
There is a third one in the works. We will review that once it comes out. Because I do enjoy these movies.
It would have been good if they had like a recruitment of maybe like the detectives from the last one and got them involved for this as well, or maybe one of the old characters, or maybe the chick at the end of the first one, how she had the rights to take over the royalties and took over the house. It would have been nice if she came back on there or something like that.
I think the third one should be a direct sequel to this one.
I think so too.
Because this is the one that you can make a direct sequel of.
I'd like to see Chris Evans back though on there.
That'd be cool. That'd be
because
really
like his role in the first one was spot on, because like I think that was his first role playing a villain.
I think they should at the very end of this one have Benoit Blanc be like, I should go back to being a womanizing detective, and like have like him walking out as James Bond.
He can't play James Bond. For anyone that hasn't, if anyone's seen the last James Bond movie, should I say what happened in the last James Bond movie?
No, because I haven't seen it, but
exactly. So, but I won't say anything. Watch it. It's a good movie. It's one of my favorite ones since Casino Royale.
So he's not allowed being 007 ever again?
Well, I think there's going to be a replacement.
See, the thing with, and I'm not trying to like divert away from Glass Onion, but the thing is about 007, people don't realize is the reason why so many different people can play James Bond is because it's not a real person. It's a code name that gets passed on.
But majority of those James Bond movies are reboots, but they're kind of a different storyline.
Yep. So
the only one that isn't a reboot is Casino Royale, I think.
Yes. That was Glass Onion. Let us know in the comments below after you watch it what you thought of Glass Onion. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. And join us next week. Well, this coming week. Monday.
Oh, what was that rating? What was that rating?
Oh, my rating was a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it the same. It's not as good as the first one, but I thought Daniel Craig obviously makes everything better in that movie.
Yes. He was
it would have been cool. It would have been nice if he just wore that James Bond suit.
Dave Bautista did great. He wore the watch.
Yeah. Dave Bautista was cool. And I also like that part in the when he's in the pool and he's shot and he's like sitting on the poolside. Daniel Craig's like walking through the water, the kabuki, and goes, "Oh, that's a nice looking piece you have there."
I thought he was talking about the thong.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
when I first saw that scene, I thought he was talking about the thong he was wearing.
And then Dave Bautista was like, "Oh, it's always shit going down or something like that."
Yeah. Well, guys, Monday we are going to be talking about TV shows and movie theories, conspiracy theories in general, what shows are about, what you don't think they're about, just fan theories, all that fun shit. Guys, tune in Monday, hit that subscribe, like, and share button. Get Pink Sock out there because we are going to be opening a merch shop here in the future once we get to our 500 subscribers. Love you all.
Anything you want to add? Valentine's Day. Are we doing a Valentine's Day movie? Because I already got one.
Yes, we can. What do you want to do?
Michael Bolton Saves Valentine's Day.
Oh, fuck it. Let's do it.
It's on Netflix. Come on, man. Michael Bolton's the shit. Michael Bolton, I know you don't listen to us, but come on the fucking podcast. That'd be fucking
I want to talk to Michael Bolton about Black Sabbath. But anyway,
I want to talk about his hair.
I love you guys, and as always, anything you want to add, Gorak, before we go?
I'm gonna be releasing some more POD songs because POD rules, and
All right.
POD, come on the podcast too, please.
Yep, let's do it. Love you all, and as always, live long, rock hard.